MakingAScene.org brings you Mixing Quietly, the truth in lower volume decisions. Welcome back to the studio. Come on in, grab a seat, and let's get right into it. If you're tired of chasing your tail on mixes that just do not seem to translate outside your room, you are absolutely in the right place. In this explainer, we're diving into a simple, totally free habit that's going to instantly level up your home recordings. It doesn't require a new interface, you don't need a crazy expensive microphone, and forget about buying another fancy plug-in bundle. It's just a fundamental shift in how you work, and it's going to completely change the way you hear your own music.
We've all been there, right? It's the universal home studio pain point. You've been working on a track for hours. You push that master fader up, the kick drum is hitting you right in the chest, the guitars feel incredibly wide, and you think, yes, I've finally nailed this. But then, you do the dreaded car test. Suddenly, the bass turns into this muddy swamp, the lead vocal is completely buried, and the whole track just sounds kind of weak. As someone who spent countless hours in the studio, I gotta give you some tough love wrapped in a warm hug here. That loud monitoring volume in your room? It's lying to you.
Section 1. The Trap of Loudness.
MakingAScene.org puts it absolutely perfectly. A loud mix can feel finished before it is finished. See, loud playback creates this genuine physical excitement in our bodies. It literally makes the room vibrate. It hits you right in the chest. It tricks your ears into thinking saturation and compression are doing way more than they actually are. Basically, cranking the volume can easily fool you into thinking an average, poorly balanced mix is this massive epic event. You're not necessarily hearing a great mix, you're just experiencing the physical thrill of sound pressure.
The real issue here is that the average listener out there in the real world, they don't owe you a loud playback level. Your mix has to travel across so many highly imperfect systems and actually survive the trip. We're talking about a fan listening on cheap earbuds while walking down the aisle at the grocery store. We're talking about a music supervisor casually auditioning your track on tiny office speakers, or maybe someone discovering your song at a super low volume late at night. If your mix only sounds good when it's blasted at 11, it doesn't really work yet. The emotional core of your song has to stand on its own without relying on brute force.
Section 2. The Science of Deception. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the equal loudness contours. It's a fancy term, but the concept is simple. Human hearing doesn't respond to all frequencies equally at every volume. At lower levels, our ears are way less sensitive to deep bass and super high treble compared to the mid-range. But when you blast your speakers, that bass and treble suddenly feel a whole lot more present. Because of this, a loud mix might cause you to vastly undermix the vital mid-range. And remember, the mid-range, your vocals, the crack of the snare, the bite of the guitars, that's the true judge of a mix. It's where the song's actual identity lives.
And let's be totally real about our recording spaces for a second. Most of us indie artists are working in bedrooms, basements, or maybe half-treated corners of a living room. Here's the truth. Small rooms lie about bass. You've got acoustic reflections bouncing around, standing waves, and weird acoustic modes making one bass note sound absolutely huge while the very next note totally disappears. Now, low-volume mixing doesn't magically fix your room acoustics, but turning the volume way down drastically stops you from making crucial low-end decisions based on a room that's lying to you. It takes the room out of the equation just enough to save your mix.
We also have to talk about ear fatigue, which is a silent mix killer. Your ears aren't just static microphones, right? They're living sensors connected to a brain that eventually just gets exhausted. If you've been mixing loud for hours, you'll start experiencing the symptoms. You might start reaching for more EQ top end because things suddenly feel dull, or you start over-compressing just to chase that initial high-volume excitement. Eventually, you're not even mixing the song anymore, you're just mixing your own tiredness. This is especially brutal if you're trying to mix after a long day at your day job, handling family stuff, or booking gigs. Lower volume keeps your nervous system calm and buys you so much more accurate, useful mixing time.
Section 3. The Quiet Mix Test. Okay, I challenge you to try this in your studio today. Pull up a mix and turn the volume down until it's basically background music. I mean, quiet enough that you could easily have a normal indoor voice conversation right over it. Now, sit back and ask yourself, what is still obvious? Does the lead vocal completely disappear into the track? Do the rhythm guitars vanish? Does your reverb suddenly feel way more noticeable than the actual rhythm section? If your vocal vanishes, well, you just learned that you have a frequency masking problem or a volume balancing issue, not a this track needs more vibe problem.
Every great mix is built on a clear hierarchy. You have your lead element, the supporting cast, the motion, the space, and the impact. But here's the thing. If every single element is trying to be equally important at the exact same time, you don't have a mix anymore. You just have a crowd shouting at you.
Bringing the volume down strips away all the hype and forces that true hierarchy to reveal itself. If the musical sense makes perfect sense when it's quiet, I guarantee it's going to make an incredible impact when you finally turn it up.
Section 4. Your daily mixing routine.
So let's walk through a super practical, step-by-step daily routine you can use to check your balances. First, set a comfortable home bass reference level. Literally put a piece of tape on your volume knob so it's consistent every single day. Second, build your initial balances quietly. Establish that groove without letting the sheer impact seduce you. Third, check it in mono, still at a low volume, to expose any phase or masking issues right away. Fourth, do a very short loud check. And fifth, balance it out and take it out of the studio for a real-world test on some earbuds or your phone speaker just to make sure the song's identity actually translates.
MakingAscene.org shares this awesome mentor analogy for that short loud check. Think of loud playback like using a flashlight in a dark room. You flick on a bright flashlight to briefly inspect something. Maybe you need to check if the sub bass is getting out of control, or if the cymbals are ripping your head off. But then, you turn the flashlight off. You don't stare directly into a bright flashlight for 3 hours and call that vision. Find the pain points loudly, then turn the volume back down to your reference level to actually fix them.
Now, here's a massive trap a lot of folks fall into. You're working, the mix stops feeling as exciting as it did an hour ago, so you sneak that master volume up just a tiny bit. We call that volume creep. But listen closely. Automation solves the mix, not the volume knob. If the chorus needs to lift or a guitar hook needs to step forward and grab the listener, don't just blast your monitors. Automate your faders. Ride the lead vocal. Widen a doubled acoustic guitar. Let the track breathe and move on its own. When you mix quietly, this dynamic movement becomes so much easier to judge because you're actually listening to the emotional journey of the song rather than just the sheer volume in the room.
Section 5. The Indie Business Connection. Let's tie this all together, because a better mix isn't just about sonics. It's a crucial part of your indie business income engine. Look at this breakdown. When mixing quietly gives you clear emotional vocals, that translates directly to a faster fan connection and deep trust, because the lyrics actually land. When you craft a translatable bass that punches through on small phone speakers, your track suddenly works as incredible promotional material for your live shows on social media. And when you have uncluttered dynamic arrangements, where every instrument has its distinct place, you've got significantly stronger pitches for lucrative film and TV licensing syncs. Your mix is part of the product. A mix that translates well means a stellar first impression, no matter where it's played.
I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time a mix just feels wrong, resist the absolute urge to turn it up. Turn it down. If it falls apart at a low volume, good. Now you know exactly what to fix. That isn't a failure. That's your mix finally telling you the truth. So I've got to ask you, what is your current mix hiding right now behind a loud volume? Go into your studio, turn that dial down, and find out. Make sure you check out the other great articles and resources on makingascene.org, the place the indie artist goes to build the new music industry.